The famed Nokia 3310 is back, and the hype around it is real. While some are eager to get their hands on this feature phone, others are skeptical that HMD will deliver on its promises of a better 3310. We don't have the habit of reviewing feature phones, especially in such a low price range, between $60 and $70 in Europe, but for the successor of one of the most iconic devices in history, we had to make an exception. So, let's get straight into it. If you're going to trade on nostalgia for a brand, you might as well trade on nostalgia hard. That's clearly the thinking at Nokia, which has managed to overshadow its own range of new Android smartphones with the announcement of a phone that doesn't have a touchscreen, won't let you install any apps, and doesn't do much of anything except make calls and play Snake, the Nokia 3310. So, what's in the box? The Nokia 3310 version 2017. A micro USB wall charger. A 3.5mm headset. A quick start guide. And the warranty. The Nokia 3310 is a cheap feature phone that feels even cheaper. Its front and back plates are made of somewhat low-grade plastic that scratches at the slightest touch. No matter how careful you are with the phone, you will see permanent streaks appear on its body from day one. There isn't even a hint of glass or metal anywhere, which makes for a device that lets out cracking sounds every time you press anything, similar to a cheap plastic toy. When it comes to the buttons, the numeric keypad is pretty comfortable and easy to use, but the navigation buttons are way too small for a grown adult's hands. This made for the extremely unpleasant feeling of the buttons digging into our fingertips every time we had to scroll through a menu. Look at the new Nokia 3310 front on and there's no mistaking the phone it is paying homage to. This looks like the younger and slightly more attractive sibling of the original Nokia 3310. The distinctive border around the screen and the layout of the numkeys give you the retro throwback, but Nokia has majorly slimmed down and modernized the design, making the new 3310 supremely pocketable. When you're carrying this phone around, you won't even know it's in your pocket if you're used to carrying around a smartphone such as the OnePlus 3T. We found it didn't weigh our pockets down and could even slip in next to our wallet. It tips the scales at just 79.6 grams, making it comfortably lighter than the 137 grams original. Unlike a lot of modern phones, it's made of plastic. You may not love this design, but this is one way HMD has been able to keep the price low for the new Nokia 3310. For Nokia 3310 purists though, the new Reboot will be somewhat of a disappointment. We've spoken to many people about the new 3310, and a number said they'd rather HMD had kept the design closer to the original. We're inclined to agree, it would have been nice for the new handset to follow the original a little more closely in terms of look, but it is a design that remains practical and functional. The new Nokia 3310 runs on a proprietary firmware known as Series 30 Plus. Overall, the software seems to work okay, and it's pretty responsive. It features the Opera Mini browser, which is a staple for feature phones these days, and even a small app store of its own. It also supports standard Java applications, so if you happen to have a nostalgia-powered folder of jar games lying around somewhere on your hard drive, now would be the time for one last go. As for the most important piece of software on the new Nokia 3310, Snake, we were somewhat disappointed by it. The endless slithering game has been transformed into something completely different, adding levels with goals, mazes, and whatnot. The endless mode was supposed to be the classic Snake with new graphics, but the various power-ups and traps that were added by Gameloft make it feel like a completely different game, one we don't quite enjoy. To say that the Nokia 3310 is limited would be an understatement. The phone comes with a 2.4-inch 240 by 320 pixels screen, which is perfectly normal, but when it comes to the onboard memory, the device is severely lacking. The 16 megabytes of storage are so insufficient that you can't even install a game from the App Store without a microSD card in the device. It fills up once you take 6 or 7 photos with the 2 megapixels camera, or you shoot 5 seconds of video. What about the promised 1 month of battery life? Well, sorry to disappoint you, but that's just the standby time. If you happen to connect a Bluetooth headset to it, or you play some games, you will get 2 to 3 days out of the 1200 mAh power pack, at most. In this image, you can discover the back of the new Nokia 3310 with its 2 megapixels rear-facing camera with a LED flash. The Nokia 3310 is selling like hotcakes. However, there is nothing of its 17-year-old predecessor left in this device. The sales are completely due to marketing and nostalgia, in our opinion. If you want a solid feature phone, HMD Global has produced far better options in the same price range, such as the Nokia 230, for example, which retails in Europe for $75, give or take. If you want a collector's item which could be worth a lot one day, though, do consider the 3310. Just don't open the box, ever. That's all for that review of the Nokia 3310 version 2017. What are your thoughts on this Reboot edition? Tell us in comments. To discover more Android and Nokia related content, don't hesitate to subscribe to the Sorrels channel.